You can draw this in Procreate. I will guide you through all the steps to create these colorful sardines in the app Procreate on your iPad. We'll be working on a canvas that is 2,300 pixels by 3,000 pixels. And in the description, you will find a link to the free color palette. And then if you're ready, let's get started. All right, first thing we'll do is we'll pick a brush. I would like to use the Huntsman brush, which you can find in the pencil section. And if you have any trouble finding a brush at any time, you can just slide down here at the top in your brush menu and you can simply use the search function. Super handy. And for the color, we will use the second color in our color palette. And the opacity of the brush is at 100%. And I have my size set at, 15%. And we are going to create some really messy fishes, so don't worry too much about your lines because we are going to make lots of lines. We'll start with something of a triangular shape and then a long line in this direction. And like this is where the tail will be. We can create something like this. And then we'll switch to the pink color, 6th color. And we'll make another fish underneath. Let's just make a line like this. And then that'll be its head. And we can make these a little bit like angular fishes. And then a tail over here. Don't worry about having lots of lines. This will actually add to the effect. Then we'll switch back to the blue, 2nd color, and we'll make another fish in this direction again. Again, a bit like a triangular shape. And then we'll have its back, tail over here. And its belly like this. And then switch to the pink again for the bottom fish. Again, we'll have its back like this, front of its face, and you can play around with the shapes a little bit. Line like this, and then here we'll have its tail. Like this. Now let's move back to the top fish. Let's pick that blue again. And we can zoom in just a little bit. And now we are going to define the shape a bit more. Here we'll have its face. And it'll have a big eye. A mouth. And later on with a darker blue we can make the fin. And I want to create like a line in the center so that we can have some difference in color. Let's make a bunch of horizontal lines here. And then also vertical lines. We could actually go all the way to the bottom. So the top part of the fish will be darker. We could make even more of these lines hatching in that area. Now we can have some more of these light blue lines here. Something like this. Now let's move to this fish. Since we still have that blue, we can make this oval shape here. Add a bunch of blue, a big eye. I want it to look a little bit like scratchy. And here as well, we'll make a horizontal line and make loads of these lines. So we can do some hatching. And here as well, we can make lines all the way to the bottom. And we can make even more here at the top. Nicely hatching there. And some lines here for the tail. And then we'll switch back to the pink, 6th color. And we'll pretty much do the same. First, define the face. Here we'll have its mouth, big eye, some lines here. And here as well, I want a horizontal line so that the top of its body is darker. And the lower part will be lighter. And here as well, we can do some hatching. Here I don't want to go all the way to the bottom because I want the bottom of the body to be like an orange yellow. But I want this to be pretty solid. We can also make some diagonal strokes to fill that area even more, but still make it look like scratchy. And the tail. Also a little fin here and also here. But probably later on we need to create that again because we will also add some orange there. And then for this fish, again, little oval shape, big eye, mouth. And all the fishes will look unique. Don't worry if yours looks different. I'm sure they'll end up looking great and all unique. With this, you could also make like a zigzag motion. Just don't make it too tidy. This is a great opportunity to let go of perfectionism. Maybe some vertical lines here as well. Just lightly. And we have that tail. Maybe some pink here. And a little fin. And also here. All right, now we have these base colors. Now we are going to introduce more color. Let's go for this color, 3rd color. And then we can start refining a bit more. You can give this a pupil. Create some more outlines here, but still keep it messy. Have a little fin here. Go along the top part. And here we can make another horizontal line. And here we can do some diagonal cross hatching. I'm just making zigzag motions here, but you could also go like this. And then in the other direction. And then that fin. Maybe make the eye a bit more messy. add some darker blue here, just with vertical strokes, and perhaps also some here, just with light pressure, and we can darken the underside a bit. Little fin there. Now let's move to this fish. We'll add some more to the eye. To the mouth. This little curve. And here as well, I want to make the top part even darker. So horizontal line here. And again, diagonal cross hatching. And the other way around. Darken the underside. Put a fin here. And also some darker strokes on the tail. And we can add some strokes here, for example. Make it nice and scratchy and messy. Then on the pink fish, I also want to add some of that dark blue for the eyes, mouth, maybe a bit here, not too much, but a little bit. I hope you're having fun so far drawing your own colorful sardines. If you want to learn even more about drawing and painting in the app Procreate, then my Patreon page is the place to go for you. I have more than 250 tutorials there, and they range from beginner levels to more advanced levels. So it's the perfect way to get your skills to the next level, or simply just have loads of fun creating. So I'll just leave a link for you down in the description in case you want to check that out. It would be great to see you there. But now let's continue. And I also want to introduce some of that blue, lighter blue, the second color. Add some of that on the face. And also a little bit on the body, just a few scratches or lines. Some blue here. Bit like this. Then we'll switch to the fourth color, to the yellow. And I want to add some yellow to the tail here and to the underside of the body. We can do that with diagonal hatching. Now we can also add some yellow over here. When you use the side of your pencil, you'll get a broader stroke. So try to use the tip. It's like a real colored pencil. And we can also add a fin here. So a nice yellow belly. And we can add some yellow on the eye. Let's also add some yellow on this fish. Also on its eye. Some scratches here. And also for the tail. It's nice to have some yellow here. So like these two fish are mainly blue and these are mainly pink, but you can put those colors on the other fishes as well, just to nicely blend everything. Same goes for this one. Some yellow on its eye. Here on its belly. And a tail. And then for this one. And of course you can go back and forth between colors. Because right now you're covering some parts and then you can always go back to another color and put some of that color back in there. If you have covered like too much pink, just go back to your pink color. Add some more pink. Slowly building it up. I think we can also go back to the pink and add some pink tones to the blue fish. Just a few touches, some scratches. Maybe some pink here. And then let's pick this orange fifth color. We can add some of that as well on all of the fishes. Some on this tail, some on the lower part of this body. I think this would be really fun to create with real colored pencils. Some orange touches here. And also on this fish. Recently I actually went to a live drawing event with a real model, and usually I don't do a lot of traditional work. I work on my iPad most of the time, but that was a nice opportunity to just work with, well, I actually work with some markers, with some colored markers, and like a micron pen, which was really nice. Yeah, just a nice way to be creative and also let go of perfectionism, because the time is so short with those things. You can't be a perfectionist. Now let's switch to pink. You can't be a perfectionist when you only have like 1 minute to draw a pose. But if you ever get the opportunity to do something like that, I would highly recommend it. It's great to be with other creatives and just have some fun. I made a little fin here. Some more pink. And maybe we can also add a little bit more of the dark blue touches. This one looks really derpy, but I like him. Okay, let's pick the dark blue. And we can define the eyes a bit better, perhaps. And add some darker blue touches. Yeah, I like his derpy look. And then, of course, it's always a good idea to zoom out a bit, check if you like your fish. And then for an extra touch, we are going to add a simple background. So to do that, we are going to make a new layer. We'll tap the plus and we'll drag that underneath. And then for the brush, we will go, oops, it's all scrambling. We'll go to the comics brushes and use the dragon heath. It's a crazy brush, but it'll give a fun result. Now let's try this color, first color. Let me check the size of this. Yeah, we are at 100% opacity, 30% in size, and let's just make a line going down like this, hold your pen in place, and we got something like this. And then what we can do is we can go to the Move and Transform tool here, set it to freeform, and then we can just stretch this. And then we got a nice set of lines here. You can also push this a bit. So you got this. And now we can make a new layer on top for some more of this effect. For instance, we can use the darker blue, second one, and maybe still make a line like this. Hold your pen in place, and then go to the Move and Transform tool, stretch it, and we could rotate it like this with the rotate 45%. So we can have like a horizontal thingy. And you can just move it around, see where you like it. I think I'll go for this. Now let's tap the plus for a new layer. Let's pick that light color again. And let's just do this again. Hold your pen in place, go to the Move and Transform tool. Let's stretch it. And you can do it a bit differently every time. You can push it like this, so it's all closer together. You can rotate. You can flip. You can do whatever until you get an effect that you like. Now I also want to use a brush that is part of the classic library. Let's first make a new layer, and then let's go to the classic library by tapping the little arrow downward, go back to libraries, then to the classic library, and we'll go to the vintage brushes and use the, how to pronounce it, Campagna brush. We'll use that one. And let's start with this color, with this bright color. Let's check the size. Looking good. Opacity is at 100%, size at 67. And let's make a shape over here using light pressure so you get that nice texture of this brush. And we can also make one over here. And of course, you can also use other abstract ideas for your background. Let's also use this color, the dark blue. Let's see. Well, that's a bit too dark. Let's also use the second color and make some shapes like this. Maybe behind here and one over here. I like this. Let's just pinch these layers together like this so they're all on one layer, and we can just move them around a bit so that they're nicely behind. We could even stretch it a bit. I think this is a nice position, maybe a bit more like this. Yeah, I like this, but I don't want these lines to be visible like in the fish. So what we can do is, you could either use an eraser, but that would be permanent. You can also tap the layer and use a mask. Now we have this white layer here, and we can paint on that with black. Let's just pick a brush. Let's go back to libraries, to our Procreate library. And we can use a brush like, for instance, one of the basic brushes. You could use maybe like the Bronte brush. Set it to black. Let's check. That looks good. I have the opacity at 100%, size at 8. And then we can just go in here and clean that up. So that you won't see it on the inside of these fish. So this works like an eraser, but it's not permanent. If you would switch to white for your color, you could bring things back. Just be careful that you don't get a super crisp edge. You could always just go to the pencils and use the Huntsman brush to get a more like soft edge. And of course with this one you can use the side. Like with this, it's a bit more soft when you use that to mask parts. But any brush can be used on your layer mask. This makes it look a bit more clean. And then there you have your colorful sardines. I hope you had fun playing around with this technique, and then I'll see you next time for the next tutorial.